Ms. Freeman, if I could start with you, let's talk about Terrence Williams, if we could. This is someone who you represented in 1981. He committed a burglary. That next year, he committed armed robbery. He broke into the home of an elderly couple on Christmas Eve, I believe, woke them up by pressing a gun to their heads, fired that gun to threaten them into submission. Fortunately, nobody died in that incident, but as I'm sure you remember, others were not so fortunate. In 1984, while he was on release for that armed robbery, he murdered Herbert Hamilton by bludgeoning him with a bat and stabbing him 20 times with a 10-inch butcher's knife, and he then tried to set the body on fire. That is not, however, the murder for which he received the death penalty. 6 months later, he brutally murdered Amos Norwood. He drove this individual, the victim, to a cemetery, made him lie down near a tombstone, bludgeoned Mr. Norwood with a socket wrench and then a tire iron. Before using Mr. Norwood's credit cards to go on a shopping spree, he returned the next day and set Mr. Norwood's body on fire. The court record reflects that one of the motivations apparently for the crime was that Mr. Norwood was gay, and I haven't even listed all of his crimes. He was convicted by a jury of his peers. He was found to be eligible for the death penalty. He was sentenced to death, and then you intervened. And you argued for years that Pennsylvania law shouldn't be carried out, that he shouldn't be actually executed according to the laws of Pennsylvania. Numerous courts rejected the claims that you raised on behalf of this individual. Do you regret trying to prevent this individual who committed these heinous crimes from having justice served upon him?
Senator Hawley, my office was appointed to represent Mr. Williams for his post-conviction proceedings, and we did so as was our duty. And ultimately, Mr. Williams actually prevailed both in the United States Supreme Court as well as in the Pennsylvania courts because of unlawfulness that took place during the course of his conviction. And my colleagues and I pursued those available arguments under the law, and we did prevail.
Well, the death sentence was not carried out because of a technicality involving a justice on the Supreme Court, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, who refused to recuse himself 30 years later. It has nothing to do with the facts of the case. So what I hear you saying is you stand by the arguments you made that this individual should not be executed, that this sort of person, under Pennsylvania law, he was convicted, he was sentenced to death, and you argued for years, long before the recusal issue and having nothing to do with that, you argued that on the facts of the case, this individual shouldn't be executed despite the fact it was Pennsylvania law. I take it from that you're opposed to the death penalty as a matter of principle.